Good evening, and welcome to Speak Augusta. I'm your host, Ben Hasan. Welcome to another episode of In My Opinion. Today we will be talking about a town hall meeting that we had on July 21st at the Warren Road Community Center. What you're going to see in the first episode here is that you're going to see me speaking to the Charter Review Committee, and I'm sharing with them a brief history of why I believe personally that they should not be representing us, the city of Augusta, in Atlanta. That is the job of the commission. And what I'm sharing with them at no time was just discussed on the commission floor as it was putting the resolution together. I'm also giving them some timelines where the interim attorney was asked some questions, and he let it be known that this document or this resolution or this body, their findings will come back to the Augusta Commission. That's the first part of it. The second part of the follow-up is right behind me is Reverend Booker. Reverend Booker is letting it be known of the organization that he represents in the Baptist Ministers Alliance. And with that, he's sharing with them some history about it as well. But then he gets down to the point, based on the comments that I had made, that what gives them a little heartburn about this process. And he's letting it be known that this process needs to be kind of cleared up based on what is in the resolution and what was said on a particular date, so that we can have something that can really hang our hats on at the end of the day as a community. So at this time, take a look at it.
Yes, every good plan begins with a dream.
Thank you, ma'am, for allowing me to speak again, Ben Hasan again. Just want to make mention, through all of the meetings as the commission, which includes the mayor, was putting this process together, at no time and place was it ever said that this body would represent the citizens of Augusta Richmond County in Atlanta. Never even discussed. Now, I won't question what was signed on March the 11th, because some of the commissioners, the big deal on March the 11th of this year was the fact that they were trying to make sure that this document went at least 12 months, because they had documents going to start in January. It hadn't started in January, and so now it's March the 11th, so they moved the timeline from March to March, and it was focused on that was the conversation. The conversation actually started on March the 4th. On March the 4th, at the 1 hour and 40-minute mark, there was a question by Commissioner Francine Scott, and it was to the attorney, interim attorney. He answered the question, and part of that answer was, whatever the committee does, it will come back to you all, and you do what you want with it. 1 hour and 40 minutes, check it out. 1 hour and 48-minute mark, Commissioner Tony Lewis, same thing. No, it's going to come back to you all, and whatever you all decide to do with it is up to you all. Almost verbatim, what I'm telling you. So March the 11th, when the resolution was signed, because on the resolution, might be a revolution though, resolution, and the resolution, 15 is talking about come back to the commission. 16 is talking about going up to Atlanta. 17 is talking about passing out to everybody in the state legislature and everything. 18 on that very same resolution is talking about a referendum. So they're so busy arguing about getting the date right that I think it actually was an oversight. Now, can I argue about they didn't sign it? They definitely signed it. I can't argue about that. But for a conversation about a subcommittee representing the citizens of Augusta Richmond County, no. If you were a neutral citizen, if you were a bunch of citizens and you took and done this on your own volition and just knew something needs to be done, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But based on how you were selected or elected and how people, because some commissioners might have chose different people if the restraints hadn't been put on them. So you took away people's rights and you empowered other people to, like the previous commission said, Mr. Rouse said, that now they're going to ask you all to do the heavy lifting, what the Augusta Commission should be doing. Because in 2011, that's what they took it back to, is what, 2001, they took back the Augusta Commission. That's whose job this is. And I just want to just say that as well. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Name and address.
Anthony Booker, 328 Telfair Street, here in the city of Augusta. I came before you the last meeting One of my the previous spokesmen said that they were around during the initial charter and played a role in what we have today. I presently lead the Baptist Ministers Conference of Augusta, which is 67 preachers and pastors. Back during that time, the Reverend Nathaniel Irvin and Dr. Kenneth Bruce Martin in Antioch Church played a major role also in communicating with the Justice Department, and we are where we are right now. I presently lead that same group. And most of the men and women trust myself and some of us here in this room to come back to them and share what we believe, what we have heard each Thursday when you all meet and each community setting. Following up behind what Commissioner Hasan has just said, still leaves me where I was the last meeting, and why the majority of the community do not trust this process. He has just given you time stamped and date of what occurred in a commissioners meeting, and what you all received by way of resolution is not the same. It's because of those things that the group I lead and will go back to them and share that I still have a distrust. And when we get back and share with them, I will share the distrust based upon the facts. And I promise you that at the right time, we will come out as pastors and leaders in this city and not be with whatever you all come up with until we address the misconceptions between what happened on record and what you all have by way of resolution. This will not go away until we get some resolution. So again, no matter what you all come up with, if that is not resolved, I will lead my group to oppose everything you all put up.
Welcome back. Also, on this next episode, what you're going to see, as a result of, I'll keep saying Reverend Booker, Pastor Booker, one and the same, so I just got to get the handle right. Reverend Booker, as he shared what his concerns were, he also let me know and gave some history. And what happened after that is the gentleman, his name is Steve Fauché. He is the chairman he's a part of the Charter Review Committee, obviously, but he also is the chair of the government committee, which means that he's the chair of the one trying to decide what the government is going to look like. And he's going to make a comment here. I'm going to let you see it for yourself, that I think everybody in the room was offended by it. And as a result of that, his comment, before he can close his mouth good, Reverend Booker was back on his feet to address him in that regard. So take a look at these 2 points here.
Madam Chair.
Should I go with Jim first?
Can I be just real brief? And I'm excited to hear what you have to say again. I'm your form of government chairman. I turned 70 years of age next month. 40 of those years I've lived in Augusta, Georgia. I grew up in a Methodist church. I became Episcopalian when I married my wife, Karen, in 1983. In all of those years of attending a church, no one has ever told me how to think. They preached the gospel. I would encourage our Baptist ministers to preach the gospel.
I just need a second, just a point of privilege and change as it relates to the gospel of Jesus Christ and the Bible in its entirety. The prophets of old were charged to speak to government. And that's what pastors, prophets do today as well. My charge as a pastor is to be concerned not just about their spirituality, but about their social in life. So whatever impacts my community, my members, economically, spiritually, socially, you can bet that our group will be involved, because we will speak for or against anything that impacts every area of their life. And that's what we have been charged with through the gospel of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Welcome back. You know, and looking at the comments that Mr. Steve Fauché made, you know, for several months now, you've heard myself and others have real concerns about the Charter Review Committee, where it's headed, what its responsibility is, how in many instances is unorganized, how many requests we've made of them. But I think out of all of that, that was the most condescending remark that I think I've seen in quite a long time. Because when you talk about the black church, the black house of worship, has been the backbone of the black community. You know, sometimes now we have some challenges, feeling they're not doing enough. But when you tell them to sit down and shut up, like LeBron James would say, shut up and dribble the ball, you know. And this is what, in my mind, I hear the same thing, is that he doesn't have a right to be involved in this conversation. And as you clearly saw, that Reverend Booker clearly disagreed with him and told him why. But to do that, what I think was just, like I said, the most egregious comment that I've heard in quite some time, because obviously we are looking at the scripture differently. We've always looked at the scripture, the people, for God to elevate us or to grant us freedom based on our faith and our commitment to serve him and him alone and deal with the trials and tribulations that he put before us, but God will deliver us at the end. The history, as many of us believe, that when the white church looked at it in many ways, they saw us as a slave. They didn't see us as a human. They didn't see us as somebody who deserved the respect. And to say that as though we don't have any rights in this game, in this conversation here, I think is totally disrespectful. And I think, frankly, he'll probably never do it, but I think he owed Reverend Booker an apology for doing those, for making that kind of comment. And it's real egregious, because even though Reverend Booker said and let it be known and spoke to the part that he represents the Baptist Ministers Association, right now he's the president or the chairman, whatever titles they have, but it's for all of the black houses of worship, whatever they look like, Presbyterian, Methodist, AME, all of those, because that same comment then saying he wished they just preached the gospel is how he feels about all of them who gets into a space where they're talking about freedom and talking about fairness and justice for us as a people. And I think, like I say once again, I can't say it enough to how offensive I was, and I think many people was in the room who heard that comment. And I just want to say that's the space that we're in. This is the time that we're living in, where people believe, once again, that we don't have rights. I'm going to say something here. I've said to certain people, and I normally don't do this, but I need to be honest with you, because there are people who can say that I shared this with them. And I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I am not going to call the name. I'm not going to call the name, but God is my witness. This is a fact, and there are people that I have told this to. Several months ago, I was talking to a very prominent white gentleman, and I was asking him about this country and asking about some of the things about taking us out of the history book, some of the things that's in Florida in terms of making the comment that slavery for us was like a trade school, and all those kind of condescending things that we see happening across the country. And based on a comment that he made, and it was a very good conversation, so it wasn't negative. It was an honest, decent, respectful conversation. I say, in the midst of all of this, how do you see the black man? How do you see him? And without any hesitation, and got no hesitation, he said, being their desire to put the black man back on the plantation. And this comment reminded me of that. He said, once again, their desire is to put the black man, and this is a recent, this year conversation, or either the latter part of last year, their desire to put the black man back on the plantation. And I'm saying to us, just because Reverend Booker is a member or a leader of the Baptist Ministers Association, this is a reflection of how many people feel about us in this place and time or in this moment. And I hope we won't dismiss it. I hope we truly understand what is happening here. I hope we understand that there's a lot at stake here. Our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids, our country is at stake. And we have an opportunity here. We have an opportunity here to push back. And just remember what I'm saying here. This gentleman is the chairman of the chairman of who's going to what our government should look like. And he's coming from day one to saying that he wants a strong mayor. There's emails that I have that said that I've shared prior to this comment, where he said our job here is to establish a strong mayor, even though Carl Vinson has mentioned several times, even at a couple of the town hall meetings, that is not the most effective, and it's not the most effective form of government. But it's still pushing. So why are they pushing so hard for that? Because of control of who they think is going to be the mayor. And so we have to be mindful of where we are, and this is a good indication as to why we should not take it for granted, put our differences aside, and fight for the betterment of the city of Augusta, because Augusta deserves better than a person to be in that space and have the audacity to tell black clergy, you need to just sit down and I just hope you just preach the gospel. That, and Reverend Booker let him know, that is the gospel. Spirit that I forgot to share with you all around the conversation of the commentary I just did. And for all that I shared with you about what our concerns should be, none of this happens without black participation for their benefit. And that's what we are witnessing right now in real time. We'll see blacks in leadership positions willing to compromise us to make sure they get whatever they're trying to get, their goals, so that the white community can get what it's wanting. I don't say the white community, certain leaderships for what they want out of this. And I think this is a disservice. I think we got to keep our eyes on the prize. We got to go to the narrative, like they said. I never appreciated the term, but I think it's very relevant that all skinned folks ain't kin folks. And that's what we're looking at here. They need participation from people who look just like us to make all this happen. And we need to push back, and we need to call a spade a spade. Once again, this is Speak Augusta. This is another episode, an addition here to just share with you, in my opinion. Thank you very much for your time.